Ladies and gentlemen, friends and neighbors, it's Scott Hammond in the 100% Humboldt podcast, the number 100th episode. Got to say that quick, with my new best friend, Kevin Hoover. Hi, Kevin.
Hi, Scott.
How's your day?
So far, so good. I'm still vertical.
You're
always a plus.
Upright and talking.
Right.
Tell us who is Kevin Hoover? What's your day job?
Well, my day job is serving as editor-at-large of the Mad River Union.
Mm-hmm.
And, when you're an editor of a paper on our size, basically it's like being, the manager at a convenience store. It's like, you're the manager and you just do everything you can't find someone else to do.
Right.
So you just never know what's coming at you. No 2 days are the same, which I love.
Mm-hmm.
I always find something interesting new out about, does that sentence work? Interesting new out about my community and
Sure.
the people in it. And so it's just every shape-shifting kaleidoscope.
Yeah. Northern Humboldt's perfect grounds for all that.
It really is.
Yeah. Yeah. So you guys cover, well, I imagine you cover the state and as needed, but Arcata, McKinleyville, Blue Lake, up the coast.
No hum, as we euphemistically call it.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll cover, things that happen in Manila as well. There's a lot going on out there. It's kind of a, the Mandelbrot set or something. You can pick any little tiny part of it and zoom in, and it's just as complicated as everything else.
Sure.
You can zoom in on that, and it's still as complicated.
I like that.
There's a million stories out there.
Yep. Still being told.
Yeah.
Tell us about you and how you got to Humboldt and where you went to school and grew up. And your what's your deal?
Right. I don't really know what my deal is. I was born in a log cabin that I helped my dad build, and
Oh wow!
And I showed up here. So I grew up. Well, I was born in San Francisco, and I lived on Haight Street.
Cool.
Before it was a thing.
How old were you when you were on the Haight?
An infant, basically young, and I remember the day in. Well, I don't know if I want to say the year, but there was a big earthquake when we lived in San Francisco. And I still remember my mother rushing me out the front door of the apartment building, and everything was shaking, which I thought was amazing. And she was wigged out. And then my dad came and found us, and my mom said, "We're moving."
That's it?
We're
done.
moving to the East Bay. And within, I think, a year or two, we lived in Hayward.
Okay.
And proceeded to live in a few different places in the East Bay, Hayward, Castro Valley, Fremont. And, that was where I spent my childhood, and back in the duck and cover era.
Sure. Yeah.
When I was actually around before there were any satellites in the sky.
Imagine that. Yeah.
So
you and I are about the same age. I'm only 49, like you.
Yeah. Well, you're a young pup compared to me. So.
Yeah. So did you come to Humboldt then and go to school?
Nope, not at all. There's a widespread belief that I attended Humboldt State University, never a day. Well, I did. I took a few night classes there for fun things like guitar and stuff like that.
Sure.
And certainly spent a lot of time up there, but no, never attended a single class there. Although, it'd be great to be an alumni, but I am just not that. But I came up here, the origins story. It's kind of an oft-told tale and kind of a war horse. So if you're out there and you've heard this before, you can
bear with us.
Make a sandwich or something. But one day I was reading, some folks of a certain age will remember the National Lampoon.
Sure.
Predecessor in a sense to the Onion, and they had a true facts column in there where it's like real stuff that really happened that's just as weird as the made up stuff. And one item happened to be about how somebody was up on the statue of McKinley stuffing cheese in his nose and ears. And I thought, what?
This is McKinley when he was on the Arcata Plaza.
Yes, the statue of William McKinley that was on the Arcata Plaza until several years ago.
Who's now in Ohio?
It's now in Canton, Ohio, and I have yet to see it there, but I have been to their museum, McKinley Museum, a couple of times when all that was pending. And I was doing stories on the transfer of the potential transfer of the statue. I just wanted to see it. But they've done an amazing job of restoring him. As you may, we're going off on a tangent, but you may recall when it left Arcata, the statue was quite battered and had thrown some kind of caustic substance on it. It was all smeared up and everything. And there's a somewhat metaphysical aspect to this. You can look it up on the Mad River Union website. When he, of course, it's a hunk of metal, was being prepared for shipment out of town, they had a tire underneath him, and he was laying there. And you know how he always had that kind of stern, glowering look?
Yeah.
He was smiling. He was like, I'm going home.
It's funny.
You can see it in the photo. And I'm not a person who believes in kooky, spooky superstition, but there's something different about his face. And now they restored the patina to a deep, rich thing. And it's
probably beautiful.
It's by the courthouse where he practiced. That wasn't his hometown, by the way. It was his adopted hometown, but that was where he practiced law, where he got out of the Army.
Canton, Ohio, yeah.
Back to me.
Yeah.
So I read this thing in the National Lampoon True Facts about this statue in this nutty little town. And I told my friend, and he goes, oh, my sister went to college up there. Oh. And I said, well, let's go up there. And he goes, okay. So we came up.
Sure.
And I wasn't doing journalism at the time. I was in retail. And but I still, by instinct or whatever, did my little Mr. Reporter thing. I went to Tiffany's Ice Cream Parlor, which is now a sort of antique store, gift shop. And I went up to the guy in the ice cream shop, because it was reported by Tiffany's Ice Cream. And I said, hey, do you know anything about the cheese and the statue? The guy goes, yeah, I reported that. And boy, did they come down on me like a load of bricks. So, and then I remember going up to the statue and looking for any remnants of cheese. I didn't see any.
Forensic look.
Yes. CSI cheese nose. And didn't see any, but I loved Arcata. Like right then, I thought, this town is of a scale I can appreciate. And I like its alternative culture, and I like the youth vibe from the college and everything. And a few people warned me, I just got to tell you, Kevin, it's stuck in the 60s. And I said, tell me more.
Yeah.
And so
I want to know more.
Yeah. I went back and gave notice at my job, and within a month I was living up here.
Wow. That's a shift.
Yeah. And I loved it. I just immediately just flourished in the culture of Arcata.
So you wound up as a journalist without official training?
Yeah. So cool. I was working at Radio Shack, which used to be
in Valley West?
No, at the one 600 F Street, which is now the
right.
Well, it was the Take and Bake place. I think that went out of business.
It was down in Uniontown. Yeah.
Now is it Subway sandwiches? Yeah. Anyway,
that's right.
Yeah. Where were we?
Tiffany's. That's you took me back, because remember Tiffany's had all the video games early on.
Well, that was
Pac-Man and stuff.
That's when Carol moved it over to the other place, which is now part of Plaza, which is the furniture. And
they moved it around the back there.
Home furnishings. Yeah, there was a whole full-on liquor store there.
Yeah,
back there. I
think I look back at that whole time, and great town. Jody just went to a meeting at Micmac. There was a planning meeting this week. Perhaps you were there, and he talked about a 15-minute town where everything is within 15 minutes walking or riding a bike, and the scalable town.
Yeah,
and they want to shift McKinleyville into that. We can talk about that some.
Yeah, they do, and with the town center, they've got quite a plan there for making it a walkable community.
So I rarely do this, but I want to speed this up, because I think you have so much to share, and I want to really kind of bring it out in full living color before we actually do the quiz. Okay. Your personal quiz where you earn things.
Okay.
So I wanted to kind of just real kind of quick, I don't know, game show style. That wouldn't be me or you, but the HSU community connection to the city. I'm sorry, Cal Poly. You were going to correct me, I think.
Not really. A lot of people still say that.
Still Humboldt State.
Yeah. Well, that's such a big topic. I mean, the two are, I think, quite inextricably linked. It's been said that if we didn't have HSU/Cal Poly there, we'd be Oric, and nothing against Oric. It's a wonderful little place on its own, but we
Coos
wouldn't.
Bay.
Yeah, we wouldn't be the town with all our presumptions and our little civic narcissism that we have. Cal Poly, the money that it infuses into the community and the culture and all the knowledge base and all the wonderful folks is really defines the town, I think, quite heavily.
Sure. Sports. Yeah.
Oh, well, yeah. Sports and culture and all the businesses that exist that certainly wouldn't otherwise if it wasn't for the students. I'm really a big fan of Cal Poly Humboldt. I just think it offers so much to the community in ways obvious and not.
And this thing's growing, right? They have a growth
They have
scale.
made a $458 million investment in Arcata, and we're seeing that play out now in a lot of the acquisitions that they're making. As you may know, they just purchased the 191-acre Sun Valley Floral Farms main site, when they already owned a couple of parcels nearby. And they're making investments in the community all the time.
That's your big story on the cover the other day.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, we just scratched the surface of that one. But and we don't know what they're going to use it for. Yeah. But they do. They wouldn't make such an acquisition if there wasn't.
Yeah. So it's not really public what they're going to do with it.
Not yet.
Okay.
If I was more of a detective and more, persistent and more of a pest,
it'll come forward.
Sure, I could go bother people and cultivate sources and get some whiffs of what they have in mind. But they probably have a lot of things in mind for it. It's very nicely positioned to do a lot of things. I mean, you could do agriculture there. You could even do public events. You've got those cavernous buildings. You could have, but you could, there's environmental things. I mean, gosh, you could put a data center or something out there.
What'd they pay for that? Is that public?
$5.05 million.
Stole it. Yeah.
Stole it because a couple of years ago, it was erroneously, according to Lane DeVries, former CEO of Sun Valley, although he may still be that, suddenly this sale thing, it appeared online for sale for $14 million. And the realtor had all the stats and maps and pictures and everything. But Lane said, oh, it's a mistake. It's like, really? That's just a mistake? He goes, yeah, that guy doesn't know what he's doing. He disowned that listing entirely.
Downplayed it.
Yeah, but apparently it was still for sale and available. So
how about that?
Snapped it up.
So I want to talk about Arcata's future. And what would you say about Arcata's culture? And I just want to frame these questions. Where are we at and where are we going generally in terms of Arcata as a demographic, as a culture, as a vibe? Well,
we're going underwater for one thing. We've got to have some kind of climate resilience plan. We do, but the encroachment of the bay is imminent. Some people don't think so.
So it's coming up.
Yeah.
Toward the city.
Yeah, depending on what, projection you believe and how fast that'll happen and so forth. I'm not even saying it's anthropogenic, but I mean, historically, water levels come and go, and it's going to be, that'll be the next big transformative event, potentially. We have one of your previous guests, Rails, and wonderful person, does a little thing that shows up on our transom every so often, which is Lumberjack Flashback. And
hey, Ray.
We have it.
Shout out Rails.
Yeah. Hey, Ray. The one in this week's edition is from 1980, and you're looking at all their little quaint concerns and things from 1980, and I just kind of wonder what they'll be in the same interval of time from now. But you also get the pretty clear message that the more things change, the more they stay the same, too. So, but we'll see. I don't know where we're going with our evolution as beings, but I think we're kind of merging with cyber in a lot of ways. So,
yeah, well, there's that big thing that used to be Copeland Lumber, right? The underground fiber,
right? Yeah,
box.
That's now a data center.
Yeah, that's got to be pretty profound, right?
Well, it was nice. It was a Copeland Lumber, which was a cool place, and then it was
Do It Best Lumber.
Yeah,
yeah.
And apparently, there's a big family issue there because this wonderful state of the art store closed. Very strange.
As did Eureka Store,
Yeah. And then it became this data center that a lot of people really feel uncomfortable about. But
it's a cable that goes all the way to Japan or Russia?
Singapore, is it?
Singapore.
I think maybe. Yeah. And then there's...
Is that advantageous to Arcata or Humboldt?
I mean, if you use data, these data centers may not be with us for long, though. They may turn into something else.
lumberyard.
Yeah, that'd be coming full circle.
Yeah, that'd be a full circle.
Yeah.
Shout out to Ray Olson. You guys, I keep seeing on Access TV, Access Humboldt TV, the cabin that vanished.
The cabin.
It was great. I mean, he set it up as perfect documentary, and I realize there may be a little tongue in cheek in there too.
Yeah.
But it was great. I think you investigative reporter Kevin Hoover on the spot, and what a great story.
That is what you would call a traditional shoe leather type story for a journalist, because it happened at a meeting. Very few people go to the Forest Management Committee meetings unless they have an interest. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people do have interest, so it is well attended. But generally, the unwashed public doesn't just show up at 7 a.m. on a Thursday morning to go to a meeting. I do. And, I'm always trying to cover the forest. The forests are my things. For some people, it's the marsh or the bottoms, but the forest has always been, because we didn't really have that in the East Bay where I lived, this wonderful rainforest.
How many acres behind Arcata Community Forest?
The main community forest, I think, is 600 something, but the total is like 20, almost, I think it's 2,500 now with all the acquisitions, the Jacoby Creek Forest, and then some of the easements and acquisitions that they've added on. Yeah. So I went to the Forest Management Committee that day, and I think it was just pretty much concluded. It was in staff reports, and Mark Andre, who was then the Environmental Services Director, just happened to mention, we found another cabin up there in the woods. This one was kind of weird, but anyway, we're trying to reach the person who put it up and have it taken down. And I thought, okay, because there had been cabins in the woods before.
Sure.
And a lot of them are, they're little settlements, and they're unceremoniously dismantled. But this one was different. And Mark took me out there. And the interesting thing is, it was in a little pocket of the community forest, surrounded by trails. It was just the kind of place you would never really think of going. And this person was there for years because there was a little logbook of their home improvements.
Interesting.
I felt kind of bad about it, but it was mentioned at a public meeting. It was on public land. It wasn't authorized.
They put a notice out on it, right?
I think I went out there with Officer Heidi Grossman, and an environmental services worker. And you could tell, well, first of all, you could stand 100 feet away from it and never see it.
Right.
And we went in there, and it was quite meticulously wrought. There was no, sanitation facilities visible of any kind. And there were no social trails around it, like to a latrine or anything, but it was immaculate. The person, whoever did it, if you're out there, get in touch, for one thing. But
that was your appeal at the end. Has he or she ever?
Never. The enigma only heightens with everything you think about with regard to this place. It was obviously a very literate person who was living out their doctrine, their beliefs. A lot of people said Unabomber or something like that, but it didn't seem, malevolent in any way. But it was very scrupulous. Everything was very tidy in the kitchen, if you've seen the pictures. There were books. There was art. Heidi had to go in, so we knocked, and then she entered. And I looked around, and I left a note for the person. Look, I don't want to out you. I don't, but if you want to talk to me anonymously, I'll protect your identity. No response. And I totally respect that. There have been a few people over the years who were just rugged individualists who said, and they were really interesting people. And they said, I don't really want to be a part of what you do. And I said, respect. Cool. That's cool.
Good for you, man.
Left a note, never heard from anybody.
Was there somebody living at the time? It was obviously
it was active.
It was occupied. Okay.
Yeah, we went back. I went back with a GIS student from then HSU, and we checked the place out. He wrote his term paper or something on it, and but you could see it was in the process of being dismantled. And then the last thing we saw of it was that on a Sunday, somebody was up there jogging. It was a city official. Jogging on a Sunday, and they went out there, and the entire place was scoured. It was gone except for the wood stove, which was warm, and that was Sunday at around noon. Monday morning, Marc-Andre went out there. It was all gone. And nobody.
How about that?
It was like it was vertically lifted out or something. No one saw any vehicles. No one saw anybody carrying anything out. So the enigma of that thing is impeccable. I mean, we just do not know who did it. But I got a few people said, oh, I think it's this guy I see in the library sometimes at night, reading up in the periodical section. Why do you think that? Well, they're really quiet.
He's a mystical guy.
I never.
I like that. That's a great. Better to never know, because then it has that sheen of enigma.
It's true.
Yeah,
it's true.
Hey, if you're just joining us, I got my new best friend Kevin Hoover, publisher. Are you publisher, editor?
Yeah,
owner,
co-editor, publisher, co-owner,
and janitor.
And janitor. That's I said that in my title: editor, publisher, and janitor
of the Mad River Union.
Yeah,
the only paper that we subscribe to.
Wow.
Yeah, Joni and I. Let's talk about Arcata and crime and the culture of crime, but more than that, you're writing on it in your police blotter, because it's always joyful to see you wordsmith some of these minor misdemeanors and heavier crimes. So take it away. You got a couple books that you've written around that?
Well, yeah, they were compilations of things I did at the time. I went through a period of mild fame when people discovered the police log, but this was back before everything was anything was everything. That was back when there was a form to break, so the traditional police log, when I came on the Arcata Union, was it was just a really quick kind of cursory, whatever the most prominent. It was 5 items on page 2, written in very dry fashion, and I went to work at the union, which is another little story, but and I was just doing production. I was a production assistant. So one of my great talents, this was on Reddit the other day, what do you do that no one needs? And paste up in production.
So you did cut and paste?
I did, with line tape and the wax machine.
With Barry and Judy?
They might have been before my time. I worked with Cindy Noble and Grace Care and other people.
Grace, sure.
Oh, amazing.
Barry was
Grace
in sales,
genius,
I think. Priestley.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I came in right at the kind of the end of the thing. I was there for almost 3 years.
Quite a paper. The Hadleys were.
Death Shift. Yeah, it was after the Hadleys had it.
Magical
They had sold it to Kurt Tuck, and then it was taken over by Humboldt Group, Mr. Odell, who owned it at the time.
So we used to call him Citizen Odell.
Oh, did you? Yeah, I can see why. Okay. Right. Rosebud. But anyway,
exactly.
Yeah, so one fateful day, Rosemary Edmiston, my wonderful editor, another great mentor, said to me, Kevin, I don't have time to write the police log. Could you write it? And I said,
thank you.
I'm going to write the police log that drew me up here, because that was the True Facts thing in Lampoon had been in the police log.
Perfect.
And I'm like, wow, this is like meant to be. So I started writing the thing and adding little flourishes. And, at that time, that was outrageous. You don't write a poem about a broken window or something. And yet I did. And then it started getting a little bit more over the top. And then there was a little pushback from the company, and I made it more conservative. And then I would push the envelope back. And, eventually it just became Kevin's creative writing. And so, but not creative, because, I'm always happy to add color and context, but I didn't, put anything in there that didn't happen. It became the police log, and it got a lot of notice. It was written up in a whole lot of newspapers.
That's
LA
right,
Times, Chronicle, Times of London.
I bet you sold 100 of those. Hundreds.
Yeah, it was in the New York Times, too. The funny thing was, whenever they would pick items to break out for their story, they always picked what I thought were really dull, undistinguished items. They never picked what I thought were the ones that cracked me up.
So you kind of cut your teeth at the union.
I did,
and then at year 100, they shut her down? Is 101?
It was, I think 116 years or so. It was 1886 to 1994 or something like that.
So did you start your paper
1995
on the back after that was finished?
Right. Yeah, I did. Well, so the short version on that is that it closed, and yet, so me and Jack, it became the Humboldt Beacon. And the fiction at the time was that the union's assets were going to be folded into the Beacon. You'll still have your Arcata Union, but it's just going to be called the Beacon. We're keeping keeping the office, which is now Arcata Pro Floor. And we worked. It was just bizarre, Scott. You'd go into this building that at one time had a big web press in the back. That had gone away many years earlier.
I remember it well, yeah.
Yeah, you do?
Yeah, yeah, I've been in there a number of times.
Yeah. And had a newsroom and an ad staff. And really, it was just like me and Jack.
And this cavernous building.
Yeah. Full of ghosts and treasures, too. There was a lot of old antique newspaper stuff and files and things, which I wish I had saved, because eventually all that stuff was just put out on the loading dock and disappeared.
So how did Judy Hodgson play into that? She was the editor.
She was the editor
prior to leave.
A time under Mr. Odell before I got there.
Okay, gotcha. So you were at the tail end.
The very tail end.
I got you.
The death watch.
Yeah.
And we'd go in there and work, and eventually they sold the building and moved us into Jacoby's Storehouse. My first office there of many.
This is in the back of the.
We were on the fourth floor.
Way upstairs. Okay.
Yeah, way upstairs. And so, what happened though was Jack was the first bureau chief, as it were, and then he didn't really enjoy working at the Beacon. So he was the true, I think, leader and innovator around here. He started the McKinleyville Press. And then when he left, I became, bureau chief, and as it were. And we would both be at Board of Supervisors meetings, and he'd be sitting next to me writing in his notepad. He'd go, "Hey, you should start a paper." So I don't want to live that dangerously. But other people would tell me, I refuse to read the Beacon, because they're the bad guys. I didn't necessarily feel
from Fortuna.
They were. And but the culture was different, and it did reflect and iterate out in the coverage and so forth. But then I would have Jack badgering me to start a paper. And then people in the community said, "Hey, look, if you start a paper, I'll buy ads for a year. Hey, look, if you start a paper, I'll give you $1,000, which was probably $4,000 now."
Right.
And finally, I don't know, I might have suffered one or two editorial reversals working for the Beacon, and finally said, "You know what? Okay.
I think I'll say yes."
Yeah, I think I'll say
Good
yes.
for you.
So I gave notice.
What year was this?
This would have been 96.
Wow.
And I gave notice at the Beacon, and I just need 2 weeks notice. And the next day they let me go. They said, "Well, you're going to have mixed loyalties. We'll pay you for the 2 weeks that you would have worked, but you're out."
You got to go, yeah.
Yeah. So I said, "Okay."
Same thing happened to me with Media News. I was gone within a day.
Wow.
Bye-bye.
Yeah.
And we'll like your Rolodex back too.
Yeah.
Anyway. It's weird. It's a weird policy.
So I spent 3 weeks I remember just working day from early in the morning till late at night, because you have to do everything. You have to do all the business stuff, get a business license, find a space to work in. I had to hire reporters, find an advertising person, a production person.
Was that Terrence?
Supplies. No, Terrence came later.
Okay.
I went through, there were a few people. Terrence was another incredibly wonderful person who really...
Hey, Terrence.
Yeah, he defined the paper, and he just went so far above and beyond and offered so much. It was really quite a partnership. I started this thing, but I remember going for 3 weeks. But you also have to, sort of develop what's your look and feel going to be. And I hired a graphic designer, but they were going to be so expensive that I just said, "I'll do it myself." So I had an idea. So I wanted that retro future look. I wanted to have the typewriter font, but I wanted it to look kind of modern. So I remember that 3 weeks of early in the morning till I just am going to drop and making so many mistakes. I got to go to bed. But in fact, it was so hectic that there were times when I couldn't even turn my head to talk to somebody. I come, "Okay, talk to me." I can't. And eating at the desk and everything. And, but after 3 weeks, the first paper came out. And that was when I learned that typos, you can make what you think are perfect pages. And in those days, we had to, still drive the pages to the press.
Right.
And
where'd you print then?
In Smith River.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Right.
At the Del Norte Triplicate.
Sure.
And so I developed this theory that as you drive your pages to the press, little gremlins
Typo
crawl
gremlin.
onto the page and rearrange things.
Yes, they do.
Because you could look at the page and say, what am I not seeing? And you can read every cut line, you can read every thing.
10 times.
It's perfect. And you can have other people do it, and
Isn't that funny?
3, 5 people read it. And then as soon as it comes back from the press, your eye falls right on the mistake.
And so does the reader.
Still happens.
Yeah.
But the readers are much more forgiving. I had C.J. Ralph told me one time, he goes, I love your typos. I think I had a week where there was a front page headline typo, which still happens once in a while somehow. It's those gremlins. But
Sure.
but CJ told me, he goes, I love your typos, Kevin, because I know you're making them.
Yeah.
It's not some guy in an office building in Atlanta or something. And I go, well, I'm glad that they have some value to you.
It's like video, the rough and grainy video.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool and hip.
Sure. Yeah.
Hey, and if you're just joining us, Scott Hammond, 100% Humboldt podcast with number 100, man. I did 100 of these.
Yeah.
Well, I haven't yet, but we're getting closer.
Yeah. Thank you.
With my new best friend.
I'm honored, obviously.
Oh, thanks, Kevin, for being here. So talking about Arcata culture versus other cultures in crime, and I wanted to talk about what's your sense of the community? Do you have big fears? Do you have some things that keep you up at night? Or what are the opportunities? Maybe that's a better question.
The opportunities are infinite. You can come to Arcata, and if you're willing to work, you can get a darn good job still to this day. I knew a person who came to town with nothing, and she immediately got 5 jobs that weren't great. She might have been house cleaning, or she might have been a barista. Nothing against those things, but they aren't necessarily what she wanted to do forever. She worked hard. She excelled. She worked her way up, got a supervisorial thing, and eventually ended up owning a business. So you can do that. You just have to be willing to work and not make excuses.
Yeah. I think of Yakima and Marimba One and
Ron Samuels.
And Haliashi and all the crew and all the food people at FoodWorks.
FoodWorks is an incredible incubator for all kinds of things.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So opportunities there in Arcata, just be willing to work and suffer. One day I was out taking pictures out by the creamery there were some young folks, and I said, hey, can I take a picture against this? It's the Art and Commerce District, and they have this giant cup of pencils and pens and brushes. I go, can I take your picture? And they go, why? And I go, well, I work at the newspaper and I take pictures. And the guy goes, how do I get your job? And I just said, you suffer.
Yeah.
The universe wants you to suffer. So you have to go out there and work your ass off and get underpaid and treated unfairly and do all kinds of things you don't want to do. And eventually you find the slot that you're, meant to be in, or that you function well in. Your skill set and your attitude is optimized for. Yeah. Maybe, if you're lucky.
If you're lucky. Yeah. Hey, let's do the quiz. You ready?
Sure.
This is for all the money, by the way.
Oh, okay.
So funny thing is, since it's the 100th anniversary, the 100th episode, I have a $100 bill here for you.
Oh, really?
And you could keep it framed. You could donate it. I don't.
Okay.
It's that time of year. Whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
But so this quiz is actually for the big bucks. So I even defaced it with some ink on it. So I don't tell anybody. Hey, question number 1, Kevin Hoover, for all the money. What's your best day? What's been one of your best days in life?
Okay. The essential components, not essential, but some of the components of a great day for me will be to get up early, drink a bracing cup of coffee. I'm eccentric, so I get up at 3 or 4 in the morning. That's my favorite time of day. Everything's
super quiet.
Nobody's bothering me. And I drink a little coffee with my kitty cat and take my news bath, as Frank Zappa would call it, and kind of find out what's happened since I last compulsively checked all the news. And then kind of, check the email, see if anything's... I've always had, since doing the Arcata Eye, this feeling that I'm behind. You want to be up on everything, and everything that I have that I can put on the page, I want to do that. So check my stuff. I might, you can work anywhere now, which is awesome. I'll do a little page work, and then I'll go for a big old walk. I try to walk at least 2 miles a day. If I'm lucky, I can get in a hike up in the Sunnybrae tract of the community forest. Come back, go into the office, talk to Jack for a while, maybe go out on a story. I like doing that sort of thing. And then maybe go, like tonight, I'm going to a mixer. There's social events that occur, and you get to meet people in the community. And
Arcata chamber mixers or
chamber mixers.
Top-notch.
Oh, yeah. Oh, they're great. And there's just always something going on. And then maybe a dinner with my significant other would be great. And then back to the chair and the kitty cat. And but there's a million and one other things that I could do there too. So I could play my drums. I've just been playing with this little ensemble lately.
Oh, cool.
Rediscovered my musician side. Or I could work on some of the side projects that we do. We make the recreation guide for the city, and that's always a fun diversion. I have to get out and move around. But once I've done that, I like to sit at my computer and do art and compose things. What I didn't mention is the thing that I find most absorbing, and it's almost so fun that it hurts, which is making music. Using Logic Pro on my Mac. So digital audio workstation, you go in, you have an idea for a piece of music, and you can go in and you can spend 10 minutes on it, or 10 hours, or 10 years. And you have orchestras at your command, and you do meticulous note placement.
Wow.
And I have an EP in mind that should be coming out next year of my unique eclectic blend.
Nice.
We used to get a lot of things at the newspaper that said, "This musician's unique eclectic blend," and I would put down the needle, as it were, on each song, and they weren't that unique or eclectic. But my stuff is very bizarre. So, and it's all original. There's no AI. And hopefully you'll be able to hear what I'm talking about.
How do you find it? Through the website? Through the paper?
It comes... Oh, how do you find my music?
How would we find it
I'll be on Bandcamp. So there's this... So I already have an account there, Bandcamp. I just haven't posted anything yet. But yeah, my EP will be out hopefully next spring.
Kind of piggybacks into the idea of some of the shows we've seen at the Creamery District or Theater Lounge in terms of some of the music that's come in through the years. I mean, 30, 40 years, you've had to see a lot of really memorable people. So
one of the first ones that we're going
to talk about that because you're still in the quiz. So So I want to talk about that, memorable bands, memorable personalities, and we'll cycle to that soon as if you pass the quiz. We'll see. Number 2, worst day ever. What was a horrible, no good, very bad day?
Oh, my.
And by the way, I like the Frank Zappa reference to the news bath.
Yes.
Is that a phrase he used?
It's a phrase.
That's a Frank phrase. You know, the Stones and everybody, when they came to L.A., you know where they'd go visit first?
Where?
They'd go see Frank.
Yeah. Yeah.
I find that very interesting. It's like the Beatles would go see, what?
He knew all kinds of people. Clapton, to Hendrix, Bob Dylan, they all came to his house.
They'd go hang out at Frank's.
Yeah, and they sure did. So worst day, when someone dies or gets hurt. Yeah. I mean, you have to cover that. And oftentimes it's someone you love because you love a lot of people who are fixtures around there, or maybe they were just nobody.
Yeah.
And they died alone in a little hole in a tree in the wood. That was one of the people who died who deeply affected me. There was this little eccentric fella who had a bicycle, and he had some kind of mechanical aptitude. So he had this bike, and he could turn it upside down and turn it into a drum set. And he had all these attachments for percussion instruments. So he would play in the pause. And I said, "Hey, can I do a little story about this?" He goes, "No, I don't want to be part of your thing." And he died, unfortunately, alone. And so that would be a bad day.
I think of all the guys, John the Ragman. Pete, sorry.
Johnny Antonioli.
And Antonioli would hitchhike.
And I just ran
scream at people.
I ran across a person on the street thing. We called it Viewfinder. I did for the Arcata Union. And I asked people, why do you smoke cigarettes when you know how bad they are for you? And I asked Johnny, and he goes, "Because I like to smoke. Get away from me. I don't like that. It's a stupid question. Get away from me." He was great.
He was amazing. We'd pick him up hitchhiking. He was just...
That's how I got to know him and got his story in the
smelled to high heavens. He had to go back to Oric.
He needed a ride to Oric, and I very unauthorizedly took the Arcata Union van and gave him a ride and turned on the tape recorder. He had to sit in back because of that.
Yeah,
And
sure.
but he told me his story, and I was doing him a favor, and he told me his version of his story. But then I talked to all the relatives and others who gave me some context. But I was very proud to have been able to profile
I love that.
Johnny. And I'll always remember, he lived to be about 190 years old, but I would see him on the plaza. He would be drinking a half pint of half and half with a McTell's lemon pie. And that's going to be the secret to longevity right there.
Yeah. What a memorable guy.
He was great. But Pete, the Ragman.
Pete the Ragman.
Yeah. He's anher amazing person.
Who's the other guy that died in the last 5 years or so with COVID? He was at North Town a lot with the big dread. He walked around in North Town. God, forget his name. Nice guy.
You asked me his name, so I can't remember.
He would hang out Los Bagels a lot too.
Yeah. I mean, there have been so many very memorable, eccentric people and some of whom predate my arrival. But Madhavi Riley, a wonderful woman, the first bohemian, a woman who lived in Sunnybray. She was amazing. That's the trouble with lists is you always leave somebody out. So I don't want to elevate. I mean, Monica Hadley, she was a monster. She was a sweetheart. There are people, and the great thing to know is that the truly great people are still there. Jan Carr, this person defies words, defies logic, she's supernaturally amazing.
Hi, Jan.
With what she does. Heidi Grossman, Officer Grossman, is another one of my just most respected people.
There's a guy you did an obit for that used to come to the bagel shop. He's from back east. He wasn't all that old. He's maybe in his 50s or 60s. Brian. He used to swim in the bay.
Okay.
He would come and just chat it up with us, and I'd take my kids to bagels, and he was that guy. What I like about you, maybe I love about you, is that your objectivity. I believe that's to be true of you, and it kind of comes with the person in the job is curious. You're curious.
Yeah, curiosity.
To interview Johnny and to log Johnny's life, archive Johnny.
Yeah, he was
amazing.
I think when you said Brian, I thought maybe you meant Brian Sproul, the bizarre sculptor who passed away. He was great. I mean, you just turn the corner and there's some amazing person you just would like to know, or who may or may not want to know you.
Right. Or the guys with the yaks that came through town.
The Yaksmen, yes.
Oh, geez.
Interesting guys.
There's some rude mofos, man. They harassed a woman right in front of me, man. I didn't like that.
Yeah, they were a mixed bag, but I did, get to know them as best I could. And I think I got a semblance of grudging respect from them.
The yak men.
Yeah.
It's like a superhero. All right. Hey, question number 3. We're almost through these. What's fulfilling to you? What fills your cup?
Saying when Jack and I go through the pages and we find all the mistakes we think we found, except for the ones we didn't, and we say, well, okay, and we always say the same thing every week. Okay, well, we'll do it again.
Yep.
And somehow we always do it again.
Nice.
So that's a moment of fulfillment. That's when I enter my state of what I call equipoise. I'm done with the paper. It's Monday. I can do anything, and I have no obligations.
Nice.
I could go out for a long walk, or
equipoise.
I could go make music or something. But everything that's pulling on me, snort, is pulling equally. There's no one thing that I have to go do or not. But I'd say that's fulfilling. Or, when I'm with creative people doing something interesting, or I'm interviewing somebody who's doing something completely awesome, I just really get into their world, and I'm just thinking, they're living the dream. That's great.
Yeah, real empathy, yeah.
So those are fulfilling things.
Great. Hey, last question. Maybe I got to get it to ring here. Hey, Kevin Hoover, who are you, and what do you want?
Who am I? That's a question beyond my pay grade. What I want is for everyone to get along, realize that they breathe the same air, and they want the same things mostly. But a lot of the things that divide us are purely elective and superficial. I want us all to realize what's real and what's not real. So if I get preachy as a crabby old guy, I would like folks to use critical thinking. What is that? I've heard people say, well, everybody wants critical thinking, but they don't know what it is. I know what it is.
Yeah.
It's 2 things. Understanding what logical fallacies are and making evidence-based decisions. It's as simple as that. So look up logical fallacies, realize that popularity isn't truth. Something may be overwhelmingly popular, and it still isn't true.
Right.
It's just one of the many. There are some people are really dialed into logical fallacies. There's so many different
Wait, there's not a flat Earth? Wait a minute.
That's not an evidence-based conclusion unless you want to skew the evidence. So what I want is just for all of us to get along and find the humanity in each other without regard for race, creed, color, age, any of that stuff.
Beautiful.
And celebrate the fact that other person's way different than you.
Yeah.
Because that's great.
They're
going to have realities in their mind that you will never be able to approach.
Right. And chill out enough to get curious. And
I want everyone to have a full stomach and be warm. And that's kind of it.
Good word. I
love
it.
Things that'll never happen in my lifetime.
So before we talk about your legacy, let's talk about some of those colors. By the way, winner, chicken dinner. I'd like to present you with a real Benjamin Franklin $100 bill framed. And you feel free to do whatever you need to do with that.
Thanks.
Yeah. Usually I just give away like a Dick Taylor bar, but
gosh,
we're really we're stepping it up.
This is really something.
Number 100. Yeah, that's Ben. Now he was iconic. What a great guy he was. We won't
Ben? I would love to have met
my favorite
him.
historical figure.
Yeah, he was
complexity. He saved
an amazing guy. He was another one who was curious.
Yeah.
Yeah, with the key and the.
And he won the Revolutionary War as far as
he had a broad array of interests. And he just tried to do a lot.
Interesting dude. So as we bring it in here, let's talk about some colorful personalities in town, maybe of influencers, and then maybe dovetail that into some music. Not that we'll sing or play, but people that have come to town. We saw Billy Bob Thornton and the Box Cutters. We thought they were rockabilly. They were grunge, super loud at the Theater Lounge. So a lot of people have come through over the years. Bruce Coburn, of course, and Cal Poly's had, staggering amounts of amazing talent, right?
Yeah.
Anybody come to mind?
Well, I saw the first thing one of the first things that I wrote for the Arcata Union was a review of a Chick Corea show up at Center Arts, it was then. And it was just a trio, but the amount of music that those guys made just filled the room as much as a 6 or 8 piece band. It was amazing. And I wrote a review of it, and I got to interview Chick. And it was right after Mr. Zappa had died. And I asked Chick if he had any thoughts about that. And he said something so profound. He goes, well, I loved Frank, but let's talk about life. Life is for the living, and so celebrate the living.
Wow.
That was what Chick Corea said.
Good word, yeah.
And it's meant a lot to me.
So Roy brought a lot of shows up. You probably knew Roy.
I know Roy, yeah.
What a sweetheart.
Yeah, he was great.
Nice guy.
Yeah.
So a lot of shows, and then you got Jackie at the Arcata Playhouse.
Oh, Jackie.
Hey, Jackie, what's up?
Yeah. What they're doing at the Playhouse, is another thing. The Jackie and the folks at Playhouse Arts really spearheaded the whole art and commerce neighborhood. They stuck up for their neighborhood, and they, I love it when neighborhoods and small communities coalesce. They might do so for emergency preparedness or neighborhood watch, or they might kind of get to know each other because there's some new development, as like this gigantic cell phone tower was 184 feet monopole tower that's going to go into residential Sunnybrae. And the Friends of Grossman Creek are now organizing. So I love it when neighborhoods organize and they get to know each other and they find each other. It's so easy for us to be isolated and to only commiserate in virtual communities with our belief tribes, as it were.
Well said.
But yeah, I love it when, because you had that with the Sunnybrae Arcata Neighborhood Association when they were going to harvest what's now the Arcata Community Forest Sunnybrae Tract. That was going to be all harvested, and Mark Lovelace and other folks organized to stop it, and did in a very ethical, orderly, principled way.
Cool.
And it shows that it can work.
Mm-hmm.
And so that really, I get a large charge out of that when neighborhoods get together, when folks get together and do good things.
And I think you're right. The pub and that whole district has that whole nice vibe. And we call it the troubadours that come through. It's always amazing to see
I know.
some of the talent.
Oh, my God. The Stick Man with Tony Levin and all those guys come through. They get some major talent out there.
Yeah.
They had George Hrab and Joey Fabian, my skeptical friends.
Just saw Robbie Folks and Jenny Scheinman.
Wow.
She's amazing. I had never seen her. She's quite the violinist, quite the musician.
Yeah, Arcata's a cultural hub. There's, Captain Beefheart, Don Van Vliet, he used to hang out at People's Records.
Is that right?
Yeah, he used to come down and just hang out in the doorway.
SNL did their 50-year kind of, I was going to call it a triage arc of their story. And Beefheart was on SNL.
Yeah.
And he was absolutely in New York, they'd say horrible. They critiqued it, and the guy that got him on the show got in trouble.
Oh, yeah.
Because he really blew it up. But he lived up in Trinidad?
Yes, he did. As Frank, Mr. Zappa, remembers it, he wanted to go live in a place where he could see whales.
Nice.
And a lot of people would tell me, I see him all the time walking to the post office. And I sent him a couple letters, and I said, look, Don, I respect you. I'm just a Frank fan. I'm a You fan. I love your Shiny Beast, Bat Chain Pullers, one of my favorite albums.
Wow.
Beefheart, when you listen to him, he's not different. And
a different deal.
I always think that I always feel different after like reading a Kurt Vonnegut book or something. It's like, it kind of retrained my neural pathways. And
nice.
But he never responded. And there again, I totally respect that.
It's cool. I like that about you.
My foolish little popsicle stand.
No resentment. That's cool.
Yeah, that's fine. But I do regret. But he, when he passed away, he went to Man River Community Hospital ER, and on the subreddit for Captain Beefheart, I told him that. I go, yeah, he died in my hometown. So, yeah. But I remember seeing him on stage with Frank, and he had a big paper bag he'd pull his mouth harp out of and stuff. So he was an amazing cat.
Iconic, yeah. So most amazing stories, 2 or 3 that stand out over the 30 plus 40-ish years.
Well, gosh, I'm kind of on the spot. Most amazing stories that I've covered.
Yeah, or just that influenced or impacted you, people.
Sure. Well, The Cabin in the Woods was one.
Sure.
That was certainly the most recent. That was the most, I would say, ripped off or the most popular story. There were a lot of people who would take that story and take my byline off of it. They'd even rewrite it because they would come at it from, and one of the reasons it was so popular is because if you're a homesteader, you're interested. If you're a total iconoclast, you're an unplugger. Survivalist and prepper. Then you're interested. If you're a civil rights person, or if you're a forest person.
So they'd snag it and take your byline?
All kinds. And it would pop up everywhere. And they would do that. They would do that classic thing. They thought it was just a copse of trees, but then there's the picture with the red circle, and sensationalizing it. And disappointingly, a lot of people who call themselves journalists would take my story and change it around and put their name on it and stuff. I wrote a few letters, but trying to stop abuse on the internet is futility. Were there any other stories? I'd say probably, like I say, some of the profiles that I did of just regular people who are exceptional. I could go I could just pick somebody out on the street, and I promise you they would have incredibly interesting things to tell me. So a lot of the people profiles, we did a lot of stories about, toxic waste sites. I did some journalism, everyone's forgotten it. But we uncovered some really serious situations out there out on the Arcata bottom, and also in Blue Lake by the water aquifers up there with Sierra Pacific. Was it? I don't want to say the wrong company, but anyway, so there's bad stuff going on here and there. But Brian Sproul, there was another one. Various people who have come and gone and left an imprint on the town. And Jim Test, there was I'm doing a list.
Is he Bug Press?
He was.
Yeah, great guy.
He was another wonderful person.
What a nice man.
Oh, he was just ridiculous. He was just so insightful, and he brought about so many changes. But then so did Victor Schaub, and so right now is Alex Stillman, another just ridiculously amazing.
Pete Shepard.
Yep. There you go.
Let's go. James Washington.
James, everyone's favorite Arcata person. Yeah, James is just ridiculous. I love
so many
him.
of the people. Let's keep going. What other people have influenced you? Or
I wish I had
known over the
list
years
or something. But,
it's hard because you're going to leave somebody off.
But
I get it.
I am, but I mean, I meet them all the time, and I just go, wow, here's a
business people. Victoria
person.
From Bubbles and
Yeah, she's great.
Yeah, you ever heard of Julie Fulkerson?
I might have heard of Julie.
She's still around. I think.
Remember being in.
Hi, Julie.
What was a back room of the Arcata Union building on the plaza, which I think is now just open. It was demolished, but I was in there in 1996, and I said, "Hey, I'm starting a paper." It was actually at a campaign thing for Connie Stewart, who was running for council for the first time. And I said, "Julia, I'm starting a paper." She goes, "What are you going to call it?" And I said, "The Arcata Eye." And she goes, "Oh my God," because it sounds so tabloidy, like here's looking at you. But that was why I called it that, was because it kind of rolled trippingly off the tongue, but also because the slogan for it was "See yourself." Okay, look in the eye and see yourself, and it's your eye. But that was one of the things in life that I don't think very many people get to do. Name a newspaper.
Right.
And when I started looking into names of newspapers, I found some there's the Telephone and they have all kinds of.
The Bee.
You can just call it anything, really.
You could.
I was just thinking how the new version of AI, Gemini, is Nano Banana.
Nice.
And I asked Nano, I was taking a picture the other day of a couple of people through a shop window, and there was all these reflections. And I'm going to ask AI to take the reflections out of the window. And it did so impeccably.
Wow.
But even though AI now gives the right number of fingers and things on your hands,
right.
It still couldn't repeat that, because the picture that I asked it to do wasn't the best picture.
Yeah.
So then I sent the best picture through it, and it couldn't do it. I could not get it to do it right again. So, yeah, AI is going to take us over, but not anytime soon.
Let's just cover AI real quick, to your point.
Okay. Kevin
Hoover studied at Humboldt State University and developed a passion for community journalism. Come on, AI, you could do better than that.
Yeah,
that's not that's not an uncommon mistake when
that's
some of these I run.
Assumption, and I find that when I need to run corrections, it's always because of an assumption that I made.
I like this one, if I may. Hoover is known for his engaging and often humorous writing style, blending thorough local reporting with a deep understanding of community dynamics. I think it's a high compliment. It's a little general, but it's kind of nice.
And it's higher than I probably deserve.
Yeah.
Newspapers
you're humble.
Physically downsized quite a bit, and for press reasons. And
sure.
The paper that we have now is so much physically smaller than even what we had 10 years ago. And then
my Times Standard came.
Yeah. And so the space that we had to reduce our point size from 10-point type, body type, to 9.5, and even go down to 9 sometimes, which gets tough for the older folks. But you got to do it to cram everything in. So one thing that people don't necessarily understand about what we do is that we're a newspaper. We're not a website. We do a website, but it's only mostly stuff that's in the paper.
Sure.
So we're constrained. So if a story, the length of the story is basically dictated by how much space I have physically putting ink on wood fiber to make a newspaper. So if we're not as thorough, that's probably one reason.
That's a good reason. Yeah. I appreciate you being here. Any parting shots? How do we get a hold of you?
Has this been an hour, really? Alex told me the other day, I said, I'm going to be on Scott's show. And she goes, it goes fast.
It goes fast.
Parting shots. Be nice. Don't assume the worst about the other person.
Good word.
Especially if there's a cute name for them, if there's a term that objectivizes them. Try to go beyond that and just kind of look in their eyes and see where they're coming from. And assuming their halitosis isn't too bad, like mine, get to know them.
Yeah, amen to that. I like that. How do we get a hold of you at the paper? What's the website?
News@madriverunion.com.
Okay.
I'm there all the time.
You're easy to find. Get online. Yeah. You can find you, call you.
Sure.
Carrier pigeon.
Sure, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And
cool.
I want to thank you for both doing this and having me on.
I appreciate you being here. So our parting shot for the 100th episode with my new best friend, Kevin Hoover. What's your legacy? What's your tombstone saying? What are we going to say when we get up at the community center and read the eulogy? What would you like? Let's say it that way.
He meant well and did what he could.
Like it. Love it. Well, thanks, Kevin. Appreciate you being here.
Well, thanks, Scott.
Hey, and thank you for listening and watching and joining us. And would love you to subscribe and like stuff and share it and do all the things on the podcast platforms. We're on, as you know, on cable 12 usually, and certainly YouTube. So like us, love us, contribute. Oh, and before I forget, Quality Body, huge sponsor. Dick Taylor, even amazing.
Yummy.
And don't forget Dutch Brothers. So I would be remiss to not mention those folks because they make this world go round, and at least part of this one. Kevin, thank you.
Thanks, Scott.
All right. Have a great day.
You too.